So today we are talking tight ends in the camp position battle, and your boy hurt himself because I'm a giant man child. What is up, Finn fans? Yes, this may look minuscule. You could say it's kind of bleeded in there. Minuscule, but it is incredibly annoying because I'm a righty. And what I did was, because you're going to see my hands move, and you're probably gonna be like, what the hell happened to your thumb? I was, for anyone queasy, fast forward if you don't want to hear what I did to my thumb. I'll give you a second. Just fast forward like a minute or so. I was making cucumber salad for dinner last night, and I was putting the cucumber through a mandolin. Are you picking up what I'm putting down? I was putting the cucumber through a mandolin, not using the protective thing. Yeah. It's right here. Took the chunk. So like this part right here, took this nice little right off. Hurts like the dickens. Hurts so bad. So you can't go get stitches for it. You know, they literally took the layer of my skin off, so I can't get stitches for it. So I got it taped with gaff tape for all the film people, and gauze, and it's bleeding. Anyway, we're talking tight ends today. There's my minute and a half, 2 minutes of rambling. We're talking about tight ends today and the camp battle for tight ends. Now, with Jonnu Smith not getting a new contract yet, again, there is rumors that he will get a contract. Him and Steelers seem to be a priority for the Dolphins to get them back in the building, give them a new contract, have them be happy, especially Steeler. From what I'm hearing, Steeler is the first guy, and then Jonnu is the follow-up if he was to get one. But he's not here right now, so you're looking at the other 5 tight ends on this team and thinking to yourself, is this good enough? So this camp battle is a little bit more important because of the big fat question mark on Jonnu Smith. So let's look at who we have at tight end. Pharaoh Brown, Tanner Connor, Jalen Connors, Julian Hill, Hayden Rucci, and then Jonnu Smith. So here's the thing, right? Jonnu Smith, fantastic year last year, 4th in receiving yards among tight ends with 886. He was tied for 2nd among touchdowns among tight ends with 8. He was 4th among tight ends with targets with 109 targets. He was tied for 9th for yak per reception with 5.9. And he was 16th, tied for 16th most with 4.3 drop percentage among tight ends. These are all among tight ends. He obviously set records for the Miami Dolphins franchise with tight ends, beating out Randy McMichael, one of my favorite Dolphins. I'm probably going to buy one of his jerseys. And to me, you know, he's not... Here's the thing about Jonnu, right? And it kind of goes back to the whole Gesicki situation. And he's not a... He's better. I'll say this. I just banged my thumb and it hurt so bad. He's better blocking than Gesicki, but that's not saying much. You know, again, not knocking Gesicki, but he blocked me so he can kick rocks. It's the only time he ever blocked really well. It needs to be better in the blocking category. He's not a well-rounded tight end, right? You're looking at some of the guys out there like Travis Kelce or Mark Andrews or, you know, any of these guys who are top paid elite tight ends. And Laporta, you know, these types of guys, they could block as well as play tight end and run their routes, get, receiving yards and all that stuff. So Jonnu just wants to be paid a little bit more money. And we all know the whole saga with, him, with traded to Steelers, not traded to Steelers, back on with the Steelers, now not with the Steelers, all that stuff. He's the 4th best tight end in the NFL last year, but he's getting paid 30th. So he just wants a little bit more money. Will he get it? Like I said, from what I'm hearing, Steeler is the more important one. They want to get Steeler's extension done so he's a Dolphin for more than just 1 more year or 2 more years. then they'll focus on Jonnu. But if they don't, you saw the rest of the list, and we will talk about it. So you have Pharaoh Brown, who he brought in free agency. He only signed a $1.1 million contract, and it's only $20,000 guaranteed. So that contract doesn't mean he will most definitely be on the roster. Like, that's not a contract where you're like, oh, he's definitely going to be in there. Because if they cut him, they save $1.1 million. So it's not like it's this big thing for Pharaoh Brown to make the roster. But he does kind of fit in what the Dolphins seem to be slowly moving towards, with the addition of Jonah, with the addition of James Daniels, with the addition of Ollie Gordon, with the addition of Alexander Madison. That, you know, we're going to have finesse, but also we're not going to be so afraid and so bad in the short yardage situations, because Pharaoh Brown is a good blocking tight end. Outside of that, it's, you know, to be seen. Then you have Julian Hill. And I'm doing it in what I think is the depth chart, right? So I talked about Jonnu, we're talking about Pharaoh, now I'm talking about Julian Hill. This is what I think the depth chart will look like. And obviously I'm going to predict that before the cuts happen. Julian Hill. Now, Julian Hill knows that we talk about him, right? And if Julian Hill's watching this, I am rooting for you and Liam Eichenberg. I made a vow that I'm going to give you guys a chance. You know, it's not fair to be overcritical, because we are of Julian Hill, and he knows it. You know, they've made fun of him when he was in the ice tub. We've heard that. Teron Armstead has talked about how he's one of the best blockers that isn't an offensive lineman, and he knows that the criticisms that come with him, with the penalties, right? How many times have we seen a run go to the left with Raheem Mostert gaining 15, 20 yards, and there's laundry on the field, and then of course it's, you know, holding Julian Hill, or, you know, whatever, blocking the back Julian Hill, or illegal motion Julian Hill. And then the Cardinals game, Julian Hill fumbled, but thank God we got the ball back. So it's like he was snake bitten. You know, everyone's hyper focused on him because of the stuff that he's doing wrong. And of course, things have to keep happening. But don't get me wrong. I remember there was times where we're watching, and then Julian Hill had like a nice, 10, 15 yard pass, and he got the first down. We're like, all right, Julian, like, it was like good to see. And then obviously it was like a penalty or like a false start next thing. We're like, Julian. So that's Julian Hill. Then you have Tanner Conner, who some people don't remember is a wide receiver convert to tight end. From what I'm hearing, very good things out of him in OTAs and minicamp. Again, training camp is a horse of a different color. So is the regular season. So is preseason. So we'll really get an idea. He did not play last year because he was injured and went on IR. But Tanner Conner, I'm hearing good things about him. And again, you know how Mike McDaniel works when it comes to his projects. Julian Hill is one of them. Tanner Conner's another one, converting a wide receiver to a tight end. John Embry's going to try to do his thing like he did with Tony Gonzalez, like he did with all these other, tight ends that he's worked with, Kittle. So we'll see what happens there. Then you have Hayden Rucci, who was an undrafted free agent last draft. He played a little, if I'm remembering correctly. He got a few snaps here and there. Again, probably just going to try to make the roster. And then you have Jalen Connors, who undrafted free agent this year out of Texas Tech. Pre-draft, he was a PFF ranking of 236. He was the 14th in their mind, the 14th best tight end out of the 21 tight ends. He signed a $115,000 guaranteed contract and ran a 4.74. So you're looking at this tight end group, and obviously you're sitting there like, holy moly, please re-sign Jonnu, or please give Jonnu some type of extension. And if not, you need to trade him and get someone back, because outside of Jonnu Smith, it's like, what are we running out there at tight end? And that's not knocking the guys, but literally behind Jonnu Smith is the camp battle. You got Pharaoh Brown, Julian Hill, right? They're fighting for them. I think, in all honesty, your fight for number 2 tight end is Pharaoh Brown, Julian Hill, and Tanner Connors. I think Julian Hill is getting the nod over Farrell Brown because of the infatuation and love that he gets from Mike McDaniel. But also he gets a lot of love from his own teammates, obviously, like I've talked about. So I think Julian Hill is the front runner for that number 2 spot. And again, Farrell Brown only has $20,000 guaranteed. It's not a guarantee he makes the roster. And then, like I said, Tanner Connor, who's a project, Hayden Rucci, saw some times, and then you got the undrafted free agent. There is not a lot of depth with the tight end room, right? There's no splashy big names. It seems like what they're hyper focused on with the tight ends is, we'll have you go out. Like if they bring back Jonnu, it'll be a situation where, it'll probably be very telling if it's a run play or not. You'll probably see Jonnu a lot in the slot. Let me pull it up and see how many times, compared to the other tight ends, he was lined up in the slot position, because I think that would be very interesting. And I think you're going to see a lot more usage of the wide receivers and the running backs in the passing game, and the tight ends used more in the running game and the blocking. Because you look at these guys, again, Farrell Brown, more of a blocker than a receiver. Julian Hill, same thing. Tanner Connor might be the other way around, but again, we haven't seen anything from him because he got injured. So, all right, let me see if I can find how many. Okay, slot percentage. Gesicki was number 1 with 60. Let me just show you. My mic might go out, but let me show you. Okay, I'm back. Sorry. Also, my camera's off. I was doing something. All right, you gotta bear with me. So you can see here in the slot percentage here, you got Mike Gesicki was number 1, Mark Andrews, Jefferson, Zach Ertz, Dalton Kincaid, Brock Bowers. So no, Jonnu's like 16th in lining up in the slot. Some of the bigger names like McBride, like Isaiah Likely, like Freiermuth, Cole Kmet, Brock Bowers, Dalton Kincaid, Zach Ertz, they were in the slot more, which is surprising to me. I honestly thought Jonnu would have been up there higher. So maybe I'm wrong, but they might go into a different sets again if they can't bring back Jonnu. So overall, looking at the camp battle for tight end, it is not great. And I think that's why a lot of Dolphin fans, not only because Jonnu, had a great season last year for the Dolphins, again, setting records and being 4th best tight end in the NFL, but I think also a lot of us Dolphin fans are looking at what's behind Jonnu if he's not here and aren't feeling too great about it. So, again, if I'm predicting, and again, I'm going to do a whole video before the cuts, I'm going to predict my 53-man roster, because now they go from 90 to 53. There's no like 90 to 80, 80 to this, and then down to 53 like it used to be. It's literally 90 to 53. I'm going to do my whole depth chart prediction on that, but I think they bring back Jonnu. I think it's Jonnu, Julian, Farrell Brown, and I think Connors and Hayden Rucci probably go to the practice squad, and I think you see Tanner Connor as the 4th tight end. As of right now, again, that could change watching camp and all that other stuff, but comment below. I'm very interested to see what you guys have to say about this whole battle and everything. One of you guys hit me up in a DM saying you guys sent me a package and it should be here tomorrow. So if it gets here tomorrow, maybe I'll make a video to opening it, or I might hold off and open that on Monday when I have another video planned as a comment of the day, or just at the end of the video. I haven't decided yet. If I go and check the PO box and there's a bunch of stuff, I might just do a mail video, but I will definitely let you know. If not, if things don't happen, obviously I will see you Monday, and Monday we are breaking down offensive line, which is incredibly important. But like usual, stay classy, pray for my thumb, and fins up.